Good afternoon, welcome to the Camnet Midday News, and presenting my name is Amazing Katamanda. With the headlines: PF high-ranking official Joseph Mulanja arrested for money laundering activities. Government advised against using Ukraine war as an excuse for high cost of living.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the
She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Know what is happening in your household, in your family.
We sing happy birthday to you, and may all your dreams come true. Happy, happy birthday.
To our most capable CEO, Pastor Victoria Chiluba, the one whose vision is rubbing on us all, hearty cheers to you today.
All night long.
From your husband, Pastor Moses Chiluba, the children, grandchildren, Healing Word Ministries international members, and Camnet TV staff, we are saying happy birthday. May all the good things of life that you wish for come to you.
Lights are bright, we're feeling alright. We're dancing till the morning. Lights are bright, we're feeling alright. We're dancing till the morning light.
You are celebrated always. Happy birthday once more.
Get the temptation once again. This is your night.
As a head of the family, my brothers, you need to ensure that your family goes to a Bible-believing church where they will be taught the Word of God, the true gospel, the unadulterated Word of God.
Thank you for staying with us, and now the news in detail. The Golden Party of Zambia has predicted United Party for National Development failure to reduce the cost of living for the Zambian people. Party President Jack Silavwa notes that the increase of fuel prices will be impossible to improve the livelihood of individuals and businesses. Mr. Silavwe notes that the prices of basic essentials such as mealie meal will continue to go up and out of reach for many Zambians, making the poor more vulnerable.
It is evident that the high cost of living will never go down, because the two fundamentals that matter in reducing the cost of living have been tampered with. We have seen the New Dawn government increase the price of fuel. We've also seen them increase the price of electricity. And from the economic perspective or point of view, it is practically impossible for the New Dawn government to reduce the cost of living. Now we need to ask ourselves, as a country, 65% plus of our population are in extreme poverty. 5 million Zambians plus are unemployed. A lot of our people are living below $2 per day. What do we need to do? What is it that the government can do to ensure that they do not sentence our people to a life of poverty? As Golden Party of Zambia, we are proposing to government that they need to increase the spending power of both individuals at household level as well as at corporate level in terms of companies. The government must come up with strategies to ensure that households spend more. One of the reliefs that the government can be able to do is to make sure that we lower pay as you earn.
The Drug Enforcement Commission in Lusaka Province has arrested Kwacha constituency member of parliament for money laundering activities involving 10 million and 700,000 Mr. Joseph Malanji, a male aged 56 residing in Roma Park in Lusaka, has been arrested for being in possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime, contrary to the Fortune of Proceeds of Crime Act number 19 of 2010 of the laws of Zambia.
The Drug Enforcement Commission, through its Anti-Money Laundering Investigations Unit in Lusaka, has arrested Kwacha Member of Parliament for money laundering activities involving 10 million kwacha and $700,000 US. Mr. Joseph Malanji, a male aged 56, residing at plot number 179 Acacia Road, Roma Park in Lusaka, has been arrested for being in possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime, contrary to Section 71, subsection 1 of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act number 19 of 2010 of the laws of Zambia. Particulars of the offense are that Mr. Joseph Malanji, in his capacity as director at Gibson Hotel, Royal Hotel in Buchi compound in Kitwe, did obtain a loan to facilitate for the development and renovations of the said hotel, and that on dates unknown but between 1st January 2020 and 31st August 2021, jointly and whilst acting together with other persons unknown, did obtain 10 million kwacha, property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime, and used it to pay off the loan that he had obtained to renovate the hotel. In the second count, Mr. Malanji is believed to have procured a helicopter, namely a Bell 206 Jet Ranger, at $700,000 US, property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime. The hotel has since been seized together with 2 helicopters, the other one being the one that he was arrested for earlier. And the 2 are currently believed to be in South Africa, and arrangements are being made for the 2 helicopters to be brought into the country.
Advocates for Child Justice Executive Director Josephat Njovu has stressed on the need to enact or amend laws which protect children against all forms of violence. In an interview, Mr. Njovu says the Child Code Bill needs to be enacted as a law, as it is critical in ensuring children enjoy rights while protecting them from any form of abuse and alignment.
Every child has the right to grow up in a safe and supportive environment, free from violence, abuse, neglect and exploitation. But like any other countries around the globe, children living in Zambia experience situations of violence in their homes and within the communities they live in. A recent scenario of violence against a child is that of Jesse Banda, 33, of Mrs. Compound, who hit her 8-year-old son with a metal bar and was later sentenced to a 5-year simple imprisonment, although justice seemed to have prevailed. A lot of cases against children have gone unreported, despite government, citizens and other stakeholders taking action to end this violence. The percentage of Zambia's young women on the other side who marry before the age of 18 suggests that the current efforts to end these abuses and other types of violence are not enough. Advocates for Child Justice hosted a one-day workshop on the subject that drew participants from civil society organizations, the media, and other interest groups with a background on how to ensure a legal framework based on child rights and employee services and actors to protect those rights.
You know, Zambia was ranked 48 not just a few years ago, and now at least we are on 38. But these are some of the parameters in terms of, they look at the legislation that we have as a country and how we are protecting our children, how child-friendly it is, like, you know, Zambia. But should Zambia be lower than the war-torn countries? Then that should be something that we need to be ashamed of ourselves. We are not doing well, we are not doing enough. We hope that the new Dawn government will take advantage and of this situation, and of course they have promised us, you know, the rule of law and the respect for the freedoms, human rights here in Zambia. So we expect that the Children's Code Bill will be priority this time around, and they should be enacted into law so to protect children here in Zambia, to improve the legislative protection of children in Zambia and especially girls.
Zambia's laws forbids many types of violence against children, but legal gaps or lack of clarity remains that limits the scope of perceived protection in specific cases.
Of their rights and from sexual and gender-based violence, and so many gaps have been identified, especially in the local laws here in Zambia, where we looked at the Marriage Act, where it provides for age of 21, for people to get married. But then there are other sections like Section 33 and Section 17 also that seem to allow marriage of children that are 16 years of age, as long as there is consent, or maybe the judge can consider the circumstances, and as long as it's of public interest, the judge can actually allow that marriage to go on. So these are some of the issues that were being brought out by the stakeholders that were gathered in these workshops, and at the end of that workshop we actually had those that were present to actually come up with an advocacy strategy.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Opposition Leadership Movement President Richard Silumbe has advised the government to provide leadership and stop using the war between Ukraine and Russia as an excuse to Opposition Leadership Movement President Richard Silumbe has advised the government to provide leadership and stop using the war between Ukraine and Russia as an excuse for escalating cost of living and high fuel prices. Meanwhile, Energy Minister Peter Kapala has disclosed that the Indian refinery will no longer refine crude petroleum products because Zambia imports all its petroleum products.
The pump price for petroleum products stands at 2 kwacha 12 ngwe per litre for petrol and 2 kwacha 61 ngwe per litre for diesel. But fuel is expected to continue increasing, thus pushing the cost of living upwards. Wednesday, 23rd March 2022, Energy Minister Peter Kapala updated the nation on sector issues, where it disclosed that Indian refinery will no longer refine crude petroleum products.
With the energy reforms by the new Dawn government that have changed the fuel supply chain, Indian refinery will no longer refine crude petroleum products. Going forward, all the country's needs for petroleum products will now be met through direct importation of finished products. Equally, Tazama pipeline will be converted to transport finished products only, starting with low sulfur gas oil, which is diesel. This change in the supply structure has made it inevitable that we shorten the period, the petroleum price review cycle. This is because the importers of petroleum products are subjected to prices that are consistent with what is prevailing on the international market.
And the minister explained that it is anticipated that the price of crude oil will remain high beyond March 2022, above $100 United States per barrel, and will continue to rise owing to heightened levels of uncertainty arising from the Russia-Ukraine war.
The price of crude oil will remain high, above $100 per barrel, and would also be extremely volatile. This trend is expected to continue owing to the heightened levels of uncertainty arising from the Russia-Ukraine war. Ladies and gentlemen, from our projections, world oil demand will continue to outstrip supply and therefore maintain relatively high prices in the short to medium term. Although the global picture looks gloomy, there have been spikes of hope as has been observed.
But Leadership Movement President Dr. Richard Silumbe has advised the government to stop using war between Russia and Ukraine as an excuse for the escalating cost of living and high fuel prices.
$100 per barrel, we reached that levels before, and the prices in Zambia were just the same. So what has changed now? So that is just a scapegoat. We know that it's not the war that has caused the fuel prices to be high. To some extent, yes, but not to the extent that we are seeing it in Zambia. What we are seeing today is as a result of the new Dawn government lacking the strategy to get fuel that is cheap, as a result of other measures that should have been taken. We as leadership movement have been saying that we need to create two more pipelines from from Dar es Salaam to Ndola, so that we can get already purified fuels such as diesel, petrol and kerosene direct. That would be cheaper, far much cheaper than what we are getting today.
But presidential spokesperson Anthony Warrior has advised stakeholders against undermining the war in Ukraine.
Now, one of the measures actively being pursued involve government-to-government collaborations to ensure that the effects of the war in Ukraine on the cost of fuel in the near to medium term are aggressively mitigated.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
This brings us to the end of our media news, but before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. PF high-ranking official Joseph Malanji arrested for money laundering activities. Government advised against using Ukraine war as an excuse for high cost of living. Thank you for joining us on our Camnet Media News. My name is Amazing Katamanda. Good afternoon.